Hi there. You might notice something a little bit different today, and that is that my sidekick isn't here with me. Okay, this is Real Talk with Beckie and Angie, and only Beckie is in the studio today. That would be me, and I am doing a special edition episode today. So make sure you watch it all the way through because it's going to be good. Hey everyone, this is Beckie.
And I'm Angie.
And welcome to Real Talk with Beckie and Angie. First off, we're going to talk about strong, confident women. If that's you, you know. If you know someone who's strong and confident, you know. There are advantages of being a strong, confident woman. There are also some disadvantages, and that's what we're going to cover today. All right, let's do this. Real Talk with Beckie, and we'll be thinking about Angie. It's been on my heart to talk about this, to talk about strong women who are confident. And sometimes you see a strong woman and you think, gosh, she's got it all together. She must never cry. She must never be sad. She must never feel disappointed, and most certainly never ever need support. That is wrong. That is totally wrong. So first off, let's talk about the pros of being a strong, confident woman. I classify myself as one, and I know Angie is too. Strong, confident women typically just get it done. They just get it done. They don't sit around making excuses. We don't tell ourselves a story that we're not getting it done because somebody else isn't doing it for us. We just get in there and we do it. We figure it out and we just do it. The downside of that can look like we don't need help. We don't need anyone to come in and say, you're doing a great job, or how can I support you? That's really the part that I want to focus on, is the not so great part about being a strong, confident woman. On the outside, which is what we see, that's all we see. If we have friends or if we have family members or coworkers that we see that are very strong and very confident, and they are women, mind you, they are women. Because men, those are traits that you just assume a man has. But when a woman has the strong and the confident, she can be labeled as a bitch. She can be labeled as egotistical. She can be labeled as somebody that you just don't want to be around. When it comes to being a strong, confident woman, we women are the hardest on those strong, confident women. That's a problem. That's a huge problem. If you're not lifting up, cheering on, saying, yes, you can do it to your strong, confident sisters, then that says something about you. Yeah, I said it. That says something about you. Let's go into a little bit more detail about the downside of being a strong, confident woman. Somebody needs to talk about it. Somebody needs to say it. There is a downside. That downside is people around you have expectations of you that they don't even know that they've created. I'm going to give you an example. My friend Debbie that I'm training to do the 29029 Everesting with, it's to hike the equivalent of Mount Everest. We're training together and we're having a lot of fun. We tell stories, and thank God I have her because she really is my sidekick along this whole training thing. Well, about a week and a half ago, she fell. She was out hiking with her husband. I wasn't there. She was out hiking with her husband. She fell. She sprained her ankle. She hurt her finger. She got some scratches. Her hands were bleeding. And she is a strong and confident woman. Now let me say it again. She was with her husband. Okay. About a week and a half later, she's talking to her husband and she goes, wow, look, my finger is still swollen. And he goes, why? And she goes, from my fall. And he goes, when did you fall? He was there with her. It's not because he's forgetful. Follow me along here. He said, she goes, my fall. And he said, well, you never complain about it. So I forgot about it. That is a sign of a strong, confident woman. They don't complain. I complain oftentimes to my husband. I'm not going to lie. And I'm a strong, confident woman. So typically out in public, a strong, confident woman does not complain. So what happens, what's the downside there, is that people just forget that they fell. People forget that maybe they're struggling. People forget that, wow, she's got a sprained ankle, yet she's still out hiking and getting in there and getting her training in. People forget because they don't hear the complaining. They don't see the difficulty. Therefore, they think that this person is not struggling. They think they've got it all together. They think, wow, they've got it. They don't need me. They don't need my help. I'm going to put a third label into the strong, confident woman. Very independent. I'll do it. I'll take care of myself. I can take care of myself. I want to talk about my friend Angie that I do this podcast with. Angie and I have known each other since junior high. We've had our ups and our downs throughout our relationship. Sometimes we've been really, really close, and sometimes we haven't spoken for years. And right now, the season that we're in, I love, and I'm grateful that I get to see the side of her that most of you never do. I get to see the side of Angie that is real. And there are moments where all the stuff that she has gone through, they kind of take her down. Maybe it's for 5 minutes, maybe it's for a little bit longer, but it's real. It's real. She does have a side to her to where she suffers in silence. She doesn't want to burden anybody with her difficulties. She has a brain injury. She went through carbon monoxide poisoning in 2017, in July of 2017. And her struggles are real. She talks about them in an open way, however, doesn't really talk about what happens behind the scenes. Now, I'm not at liberty to talk about a lot of the details because I don't want to put her situation in jeopardy. And that's not where I'm coming from. Where I'm coming from is maybe you have a strong, confident, independent woman in your life and you think she's got it all going on. She doesn't need to hear, wow, you look amazing today. Or maybe she doesn't need to hear, hey, how can I support you? You might even think she doesn't need to hear, I've noticed that you're going the extra mile right now. And I want to say, I see you. Little things like that make a difference to the strong, confident, independent woman. They may take a pause and say, thank you.
Thank you.
They might not have a parade. They might not have a big old, thank you so much for recognizing that. It might simply be a thank you. And just because you see it as a small win or a small acknowledgement doesn't mean that that strong, confident, and independent woman inside isn't saying, that feels really good. That feels really good. So I encourage you, I actually challenge you, for those strong women in your life who are independent, notice them, acknowledge them, compliment them, see how you can support them. Because we put up a face. We women put up a face. We women really need to unite, not tear each other down. We put up a face that says, hey, I'm ready for battle. Or let's do this. Or a face that says, I've had some tough times and I'm still going to get in there and I'm going to get this done. When Angie and I embarked on this podcast, we did so enthusiastically. Neither one of us had done a podcast before, and we came in and we did all the things. I did my part, she did her part, and then pretty soon it got a little bit muddy. Who's doing what? And I noticed that I wasn't pulling the line. I wasn't doing as much as I could. And Angie and I got to have a conversation about that. One of the things I know most about Angie is she is confident. She's confident because she's capable. She's capable of getting shit done. I don't work at the same level that Angie does. I'm learning to. I'm getting better all the time because I want to improve. When I see a confident, strong, and independent woman like Angie, and I see her working at excellence, I have two choices. Number one, I can compare myself to her and say, wow, I'm not as good as her. And therefore, I'm just not going to try. And some women might go as far as actually belittling that person or might say bad things about her. Well, can you believe she did this? Some women might do that. Some women do that. Or I can say, you know what? I have an opportunity here to learn from someone who lives in excellence. I have an opportunity to grow here. Okay, Angie, I'd like to get to your level of excellence. How can I do that? What can I do to improve myself and my world. And you know what that makes me? That makes me a strong, confident woman. When I can step in a place of being humble and saying, wow, what can I learn here? Rather than, she's bad.
We've got to stop tearing people down.
And lift up the women in your life. Sure, you probably have your core group, your tribe, your bestie that you lift up. But what about the girl that isn't doing as well as you? What about the woman at your office who everyone kind of snickers at because she doesn't dress right? What about your boss? What about all the women in your life that you look at and think ill of them because really you want to be like them? There is a part of you that envies their strength. There's a part of you that envies their confidence. And there's a part of you that envies their independence. And you think, if I could be more like her, I could be stronger. I could launch that business I've always wanted to launch. Whatever it is for you, pull down the gloves. Pull down the sunglasses that give you judgment. The detrimental part of being a strong, confident woman, when people don't think you need support, they just push you aside thinking, she's got it. She doesn't need me. And the truth is that they do. They might not admit it. Help, support, encouragement is welcome. It will not be asked for. Ever, ever. The strong, confident, independent woman will not ask for help. She won't. Doesn't make it right, doesn't make it wrong. She's not going to ask for help. Jump in, help her. Ask for permission first, because you might get the elbow to the eye. And acknowledge. Acknowledge. You guys, being a strong, confident woman has its burdens. It does. I'm going to say it. If no one else is going to say it, I'm going to say it. When you set the bar so high, as Angie has, what's next? What's she going to do next? I'm excited to see. I want to know. When you set the bar high, you get to set the bar higher the next time. And that's exciting. That's how you grow as a human being. That's exciting. That's fun. What else do I want to share about strong, confident women, and mainly Angie? Angie and I talked about my doing this episode. I actually asked if she was okay with, one, my doing an episode by myself, and two, really talking about her from a place of knowing her behind the scenes. And honestly, her first reaction was, why do you want to do that? And the reason I want to do it is I want people to see Angie and all strong, confident, and independent women from a different light. Look at them and see the woman who is fighting behind the scenes, who's crying in her car or in the shower and coming out and putting on her best face to encourage others. Another thing I know about Angie is she is an encourager. I know if I'm having a tough day or if I need some support and I reach out to her, she'll do what she can to help support me and lift me right up. Those strong women in your life, they are ready to do that too. If you feel like you're not strong or you're not as strong as they are, recognize the strengths you do have. Recognize the courage that you do have. Recognize the obstacles that you have overcome. And if you too want to step into the strong, confident, and independent role, it's literally one step at a time. One choice to do better, to be stronger, and pick yourself back up. Another thing with strong, confident women is they do fall down. We fall down. We also have resilience and pick ourselves back up more quickly each time. Each and every time it gets quicker. I would love to hear your strong, confident woman story. Maybe it's about you. Maybe it's about somebody you know. Or maybe it's about me. Or maybe it's about Angie. I would love to hear it. If you feel like you're not that strong, confident woman yet, I would love to hear what you're going to do for your next step, how you're going to step into that place of being a strong, confident, and independent woman. All right, this has been Real Talk with Beckie, and we're thinking about Angie. And next time, I promise you, back in the studio, it will be Beckie and Angie. In the meantime, be strong, be confident, and be proud to be independent. Mwah! Love you.